So the last thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be discussing how to predict and prevent earthquakes. Well, prevent earthquake damage in the second one. So no way is perfect. However, there are a couple of things you can mention. So seismologists can place large instruments in the crust to measure stress and strain on parts of the crust. If you do engineering, Young's modulus is actually there for parts of the crust. So the installation of tilt meters to measure crustal movement. So tilt meters are like these large, they're essentially long poles that you stick into the ground, and if they tilt, it could be a sign of an earthquake. Even like half a degree could signal a potential earthquake. One telltale sign is the emission of radon gas. So radon is actually produced, I think, inside the crust and is released when fissures open. Fissures being small holes in the ground. Um, so yeah, radon gas gets emitted. Now the use of computer simulations is a bit of a new one. Um, they're still being improvised, and in fact, some AI, as far as I read, are actually being trained to model and predict these earthquakes, which is, I think, utterly ludicrous. But that's what AI is doing. Um, Now, a slightly less reliable one is that some animals can actually detect movements of the crust. So this actually predicted an earthquake in China in 2000 something. Scientists in China noticed extremely awkward animal behaviors, and so they put that down to being a possible earthquake coming in, and turns out they were right. It's not 100% accurate, as animals can just act unusual for the simple fact they are animals, but there have been sort of methods for detecting whether it's just unusual animalistic behavior or if it's reacting to crustal movement. Now, how to prevent earthquake damage? So the stiffer buildings, obviously, we have developed stronger forms of concrete, stronger concrete and glass. Um, Many government areas or many governments that have earthquake-prone areas have savings in case a disaster happens. So they actually have money set aside for the disaster relief. Um, Now, Japanese school children often practice earthquake drills to get them into a safe habit in case an earthquake actually hits, kind of like our Irish fire drills. Another thing that I actually haven't included here is that Japan actually has an early warning system. So it has a bunch of sensors on the ground that if it detects an earthquake, it actually warns people up to about 90 seconds before the earthquake hits, which I know isn't a lot, but obviously the people in Japan are well trained for earthquakes. Now, with stiffer buildings, you have these things called seismic dampers under the building. So they're big stiff springs that can actually take in the energy from the seismic waves, and the energy is slowly released from sort of the spring sort of relaxing, the energy is released back into the ground. And places prone to earthquakes have strict planning laws, as is a fairly common answer for these. So the US state of California actually implements these sort of things in case the San Andreas fault line sort of budges, then they can ensure that the buildings in that area are completely safe, or at least extremely safe, and cause minimal damage, destruction, and death.